Hey, it's Jake Lewis. Thanks for watching MotoAmerica on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe.
It's Championship Sunday at the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. Around Superbikes at Alabama from Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham, Alabama, as we set the stage for our final SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race, where the #1 plate is on the line. And it's going to be exciting because we still have 3 riders in contention for the championship. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Welcome to the show. I'm Craig White, standing alongside 2-time world champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, Cody Wyman still leads this championship, and we have Gus Rodeo and Kayla Yakov in the championship. But right now, Cody Wyman's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he looks solid, Greg. And I think yesterday, watching his title rivals battle in front of him and being able to pull a 4th place out of that yesterday, I think was big for him. Gus Rodeo led a lot of that race, but Kayla came through with the win at the end of the day.
She certainly did, Jay. Let's take a look at those race 1 highlights because she made some passes to win this race that were unbelievable.
This was the defiant one, though. She talked about it in the podium. She talked about just running down the middle of both Gus Rodeo and Joe Lamondre Jr. And the bummer part here for Joe Lamondre Jr., he was in the draft, ran out of gear, wasn't able to get by Kayla. That actually eliminated him from the championship title chase. Otherwise, we'd have 4 of them going for it today.
Only 25 points remain in this championship, and for Lamondre Jr., he has 28 in arrears. So this is a look at it, 277 to 260. You can see the advantage Cody Wyman has over Gus Rodeo, who closed it down yesterday. But Yakov 20 points back, which means, hey, if Cody or Gus has a problem and Kayla wins this race, she could be crowned national champion. Pretty incredible to think about. All right, so let's take a look at this starting grid. Cody Wyman did a 35.5 to put himself on pole.
Then we have Kayla Yakov, Rodeo, Humphreys, Lamondre Jr., and Aiden Thau. Back to row 3, Bickneys, Ojawara, Black, Owen Williams, Max Van, Jake Vandal, Dreyer, Rivera, Clark, Elliott, Caldwell, and Monk are through row 6.
All right, 11 laps scheduled for SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup with this championship on the line. Jason, this race is going to be pretty exciting because is Cody Wyman going to be a little snug, you know, and Kayla and Gus Rodeo, and of course we have Spencer Humphreys in there as well.
For the 34, he's got to do what he did yesterday, keep his nose clean. I think the first 25 seconds of this race are super important, just getting off to a good, clean start.
It's time, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 2, our final of the 2022 season with the championship on the line. And it's down to these 3, Cody Wyman, Kayla Yakov, and Gus Rodeo. Lights go out. The dash to turn number 1, Kayla Yakov's been getting good starts, and she'll lead us on into turn number 1. Cody Wyman leans on Gus Rodeo. He'll slot into 3rd spot.
This is where Gus has been so good through the middle of turn 2. He's trying to go up the inside of Cody Wyman, see if he can make that pass stick. He does. He makes that pass stick again there, Greg. So it looks like Spencer Humphreys is right there as well. Cody looks back down the inside as they go down into Charlotte's Web for the first lap.
Oh, Gus Rodeo really hard on the front end was Rodeo, trying to keep Kayla Yakov in tow. Now they head to the museum corner. This is where Kayla's been really strong all weekend long, going around the outside and inside of people. But has Gus Rodeo learned something from the first race? Boy, it looked like Gus had position on her. He did. So Rodeo takes over the spot.
And you can see Aiden Thau jumped himself up into 5th place as well. So he's on the move going forward. He's got Bickneys back there on the 69. But for Gus Rodeo, Kayla Yakov, they both have to win. So those 2 are going to just knock each other out here, trying to deliver that final blow to try to see who can get there. And Kayla, again, the same place. Turn 12. She's so fast in there. She's got such a tight line, but she gets a good run out of those S's and gets down into turn 12. Lets go of that lever on a tighter line, but is able to make it work. Spencer Humphreys now finds himself in 3rd. Cody Wyman doing a good job here, keeping himself in 4th. I feel like he's just got to get these first 2-3 laps out of the way because he's got, what does he got to do, G-Dub? 8th or better, I believe, is what it is. As you can see, Joe Lamondre Jr. is now trying to go down the inside of Cody Wyman as they go down into turn 1. Looked like he possibly was going to make that pass stick, and he does. So Cody's back there in 5th now with Aiden Thau just behind him. But Cody's got to just make sure that he keeps his nose clean. But I still feel like he has to race out in front of him, Greg. He's raced with all these riders all year long. He doesn't want to fall back too far and ride against guys or people that he hasn't raced against this year.
So Cody Wyman hanging back there, doing what he needs to do. Let's welcome the third member of broadcast team, Hannah Lopa, into the broadcast. Hannah, what's going on?
He's hanging tough, Greg. Yesterday, he really wanted to be in the battle with that front group, but he said he would have been really mad at himself if he put himself in a position that would really jeopardize the bigger picture. He was hoping to capitalize off mistakes made by others. It didn't quite happen that way. Today, he's just going to be conservative and keep it clean, and he'll be golden. He knows that he's aging out of the class, so he wants to use, hopefully, this title as a catalyst for the future of his racing.
All right, and aging out meaning 14 to 28 years old is the age limit here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, and he'll turn 29 in December. I think December or November.
And he's been running some Twins Cup as well with some success. I think he had a podium earlier this year in Twins Cup, and he gets to do a lot of riding, which is great. So he can ride any bike. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if something worked out for Cody where he was either on a Super Sport spec or even a stock 1000 bike, just depending on what opportunities are going to be available or afforded to him there. So front three, Greg, starting to get away, aren't they? Gus Rodeo, Kayla Yakov, and now Joe Lamondre Jr. talking to him and his crew earlier on. As you can see, he is now trying to make a bid. He gets that second spot away from Gus Rodeo. Yesterday, Greg, they were a little bit short on gearing, and if you remember the run to the line between him and Kayla, he wasn't quite able to make that pass. So they've lopped a tooth off that rear sprocket, giving him one tooth taller. So hopefully today he'll be able to draft, maybe draft past a few people.
Yakov had the lead for a moment. Now it's Lamondre who goes around the outside, but it's Gus Rodeo who will take the spot. Really wide Rodeo gets it up onto the meat of the tire. That was a good move by Rodeo. It looked like he had the trajectory. He was going to slide off the racetrack. Here's where Yakov has been strong. Oh, nowhere to go.
Yeah, she was just kind of blocked out. Lamondre was there in front of her as well. And this is giving Spencer Humphreys the fourth place rider as these guys battle each other. And look at that. Ryota Ojiwara doing a really nice job there in sixth. Or fifth now. You can see Cody's going backwards a little bit. This is what scares me. He's got two more behind him. The good news is the front eight are kind of together, and eighth is where he needs to be. He's got a big gap after that, so I'm not sure. Dad's probably working the pit board, going to give him as much information as he can, because there are championship ramifications, especially if either of these first two win.
Ojiwara, 14 years old, and a couple of weeks into his 14 year, having a good run. The emergence of the Japanese rider at New Jersey Motorsports Park just a couple of weeks ago. So far, there's been 8 lead changes in the few laps that we've had, and it's been these three: Gus Rodeo, Kayla Yakov, and Joe Lamondre. But Spencer Humphreys just shows the fastest lap of the race, Jay, at 1:35.7. Here comes Yakov in and out of the draft. Down the hill they go. These riders up front, Jay, pretty equal in terms of braking, but look at Yakov down the hill. A nice aggressive move by Kayla to take over the spot as they head towards the museum. Hannah?
I spoke with Gus this morning. He said his goal for this race is the exact same as yesterday. They needed a little more speed in that last sector, so they made some changes to the front suspension. Best case scenario, he said he's going to control what he can control, which is himself. He wants to try to get this win. He's going to try to play his cards a little bit differently in the final laps compared to yesterday. When I went to speak with him, he was watching the race, studying once again. He thinks he has a plan that'll work to his advantage.
Yeah, right now, Cody Wyman sitting in 7th spot. 8 is that magical number, so he's got another place to give. Meanwhile, Gus Rodeo and Kayla Yakov, all they can do is try to win the race and let Cody Wyman sort himself out. Yakov pass down into turn number 5, Charlotte's Web, Jason.
Yeah, absolutely. She did a nice job there. Yesterday, Gus was so dominant down into that particular corner, and today it looks like Kayla maybe she made some changes on her bike to make it a little bit more comfortable for her down there. As Joe Lamondre now is going to take his turn at the front as they go off into turn 1. He should be able to get to that apex a little bit sooner than Gus. Gus might try up the inside of 2. Remember how good he is all the way through here. He does. So these two know each other very, very well, and they've raced against each other a bunch. So giving each other a little bit of room with still 7 laps to go is a good thing to see. Kayla's got the run now. We had 5 in the lead group yesterday. And we've got 5 today. Ojawara has taken the place of Cody Wyman in that front group. So you can see here now the live standings on the right. If it ended right now, Greg, the way it is, he'd win by 1 point over Gus Rodeo. If Gus Rodeo is leading this race, it's going to be really important. Cody sees himself in that 6th, 7th place right now.
Wyman's been relegated back to 8th place, so that means he and Rodeo, if he wins it, would be tied on points, but Cody would have more wins and still win the championship. So laps are winding down with Kayla Yakov in the lead. The question is, what does Cody Wyman have in the tank? Can he hold on to win this championship, and who's going to win the race? 10 lead changes, Jason Pridmore.
Wow.
So far in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Make that 11 on back to Cody Wyman, who now sits in 8th place. That's where he needs to be, and it doesn't look like he's got anybody behind him now to give him problems.
Yeah, now he can just literally be where he's at, ride around, not getting anybody else's mess, and wrap up this championship. It doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 25 or 50, Greg, as long as you win it. And Cody's put himself in a good position this year to be able to take advantage of this race and kind of put himself where he needs to be. As you see, Kayla takes another shot up the inside of Gus Rodeo. Spencer Humphreys there now is the one taking up 3rd spot on that 65. Expect to see him try to get up to the front here in a minute, try to lead a lap or 2 of this race. And Ojawara has also slid past Lamondre Jr. to get himself into 4th.
And the roll speed of Gus Rodeo down through the bottom of 2 and heading off up over the hill and into 5 is incredible. And that momentum has allowed Rodeo to recapture the #1 spot. So it is the 96 of Gus Rodeo on the Rodeo Racing Kawasaki Ninja 400. Altus Motorsports, number 31 is Kayla Yakov. She's going to head to the museum corner, take over the spot. There's 2 places on this racetrack where she's super, super strong. And this is newly minted 14-year-old Ojawara out of Japan, who's here on the Team Iso bike. And you have Spencer Humphreys on the 65. Humphreys on the Bartcon Racing entry. And of course we have Joe Lamondre on the Boss Racing JL62 team.
Gus Rodeo leads through this section. One of the few times that we've actually seen him do that. Kayla, most of the time, is able to get back past on that little straightaway. So Gus trying to lead his way through this whole last little sector. Kayla, though, just rolling around right with him right now. Spencer doing a good job. Ojawara, like I said, Greg, jumped himself up into 4th a lap ago. And we'll have to see if they can get any good drafting on the front. Kayla's going to go through again, Greg, as they go into turn 1.
Oh, Kayla Yakov into turn 1, trying to make a move, but she got balked up as we have 5 laps to go in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. So it's Gus Rodeo who leads the way. Joe Lamondre in the back of these 5 with Spencer Humphreys in 3rd and Ryota Ojawara in 4th.
Wow, look at the run she got up over turn 4. Now it's going to be her against Gus down into Charlotte's Web again. She's going to make that pass, Greg.
16th lead change of this race.
We still got 5 laps to go.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
We had 15 yesterday, Jason. This might break a little record in terms of passing. Most of it has just been between these 2. We saw Joe Lamondre make a bid early. He had to lead for a little while.
These are the 2 that both have the most pressure on them. They have to win. And, Gus looks back like that and doesn't see Cody Wyman anywhere in this little group of 5. So it's going to give him extra motivation because he's 17 points back, like we said at the start of the show. Kayla, 20 points back. Oh. So they got another pass for the lead. That's where Kayla's been doing it. Yeah, so Gus has found that spot. But here's your guy right now. Cody Wyman just needs to keep doing what he's doing. And right now, if he was to look at his board, it's going to say almost +8, Greg. So he's got plenty of room behind him to not have to go up and tangle with anyone.
Things are going to start getting tense here with a couple laps to go. This time by, it'll be 4. Yakov looking for a move into turn number 1. That's a blind corner and hard. Oh, and Ojawara way out wide, but nice little bit of runoff there. Able to gather it back up. Kayla Yakov looking to draft and pass move into turn number 5. She's on the inside, has position on the brakes. Rodeo trying to close it off. Kayla thought about it for a second, Hannah.
She did, and when I asked her what the plan was for today, she said not making any very big changes, but they wanted to try and fix the rear grip a little bit. She said she can get more pace if the grip is better. She just wanted to limit the number of riders in this front group and not get shuffled too far back. Still 5 riders, and she's still out front. She's hoping for a double victory weekend to end the season strong.
Ojiwara goes into 3rd spot. Now a gap has started to form, JP.
Got to be impressed, though, with Ojiwara. I mean, Greg, he's coming to America, and he's learning these new tracks and seeing Barber Motorsports for what I would believe would be the first time. Not sure on that exactly, but he learned, obviously, a lot yesterday as Gus Rodeo just slams the door shut there on Kayla as they went into turn 12 that lap. These two are racing really hard, but Ojiwara has done such a good job, and maybe some improvements overnight on that bike and learning the track a little bit more and watching some video and things like that have helped him put himself in 3rd with people that have been running for the championship. That's what's made Spencer Humphreys very impressive as well. We saw him at Jersey, and he put himself right in the mix. Same with Ojiwara now here at Barber. Joe Lamondre Jr. looks like he's trying to make a pass to go into turn 1 for 3rd, and he does that. So let's see if Joe can start to close this gap back up to the front 2, because like you say, Greg, there's a gap there, isn't there?
There is a little bit of a gap, but Jay, looking at what Gus Rodeo is doing right now, there's been a couple places where Kayla Yakov yesterday and the beginning part of this race where she was really good, but Gus Rodeo seems to have found some speed in those sections. That's got to be something that Yakov's got to be thinking about. And now
Joe defended that spot down there into 3rd, or into Charlotte's Web for 3rd, I should say. And he's going to move all the way over to the right, Greg, to try to defend it as he goes down this straightaway. Kayla doing the same. She tries to go down the inside there, wasn't able to kind of make it. And you see Ojiwara has made that pass back.
Boy, now if you're Kayla Yakov, unless you're not showing all your cards, not putting them all on the table, she's got to be thinking about a different place to pass, as Gus Rodeo had a look over his shoulder just to see what the pack was doing behind him. Yakov gets a drive. So she was right up there, and now she moves over on the racetrack. Gus is looking for position. So Yakov actually passed him really early.
Yeah, she was able to get down the right side, open up the radius of that turn a little bit, and go down the outside of Gus. It's a move we haven't seen. And the other two now have caught up, Ojiwara and Lamondre Jr. Spencer Humphreys just a little bit off the back, but he'll close that gap back up, I think, as he's not, he's right there again, Greg. For a minute there, I was a little bit worried, but I think he's going to be able to sniff the draft of the 2 bikes in front of him a little bit.
Lap times coming in at mid-36s for the entire pack. High 35s is the fastest lap of the race, is actually a 1:35.5 by Lamondre on lap 4. They've done 9.
You see the presence of mind of Kayla. She could actually hear Gus Rodeo, and she could hear his motorcycle up underneath her bike there, and she had the wherewithal to like give him a little bit of room. So yeah, that's really good racing experience there that you can see from her. All the kids, Greg, in this class impress me every time we watch it.
A lot of different lines you'll see in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup machines. Lower horsepower, lower displacement from your Medallia Superbike class. They use a lot of roll speed to keep up that RPM and keep up the momentum. In the museum corner goes Kayla Yakov, who leads this race with a lap and a half to go. Now it's all about starting to think about that strategy. You saw Kayla look over to the right. There's a screen there. There's a Jumbotron that the riders can look at, and she's taking a look. Here comes Rodeo.
Ojiwara down the inside as well. Look at this.
Oh, so just like that, Ojiwara moves himself into 2nd spot. Now what's Yakov going to do? They've really broken away.
They broke this. There's a gap now between the first 3, isn't there? A big gap.
Ojiwara doesn't care about this championship. Ojiwara is focused on one thing: winning this race.
The thing you got to remember too is that he's not going to care about any championship either. He wants, like you say, Greg, he wants to just come here and win at Barber. As we see the white flag flying right now, Kayla looked like she was trying to line up a move down the inside, isn't able to do that. Gus Rodeo is really good down through turn 2, as we have seen over and over for the last 2 days. The other two are close though. Kayla should get a double bike draft up through turn 4 here. It's going to get interesting as they get down to Charlotte's Web.
Ojiwara trying the inside out move around the outside. Rodeo deep on the brakes. Ojiwara's trying it. Where are you going? You're out in the marbles. Ojiwara's going to lose some drive. Yakov back into 2nd spot. Ojiwara loses a bike length or 2 end position. This plays in Kayla Yakov's favor. She's got another place or two where she likes to pass.
Well, you know where it's coming up, don't you, Greg? They're going to go up over the curbing. Oh, Kayla gets out of shape as they go over the curbing. But she controls the bike, Greg. She's going to get in the draft through this fast left-right, and then she's going to try to make that pass again. I bet Gus Rodeo is going to be smart to it this time, though. He's not going to let her go down the inside. She's going to have to make this pass down the outside. Look at what I said.
Here we go, and Gus is smart, though. He gets it done, and he blocks her ability to do it. Yakov's got the switchback left to get this job done. Gus Rodeo knows he has to win this race to give him any chance of this championship. All the while, Cody Wyman in 8th place and is poised to take the #1 plate. Here we go, the final corner. Does Yakov have the move? Gus Rodeo sweeps through the final corner. Full gas as they go to the line. Yakov trying to break the draft. Here they come to the line, and it is going to be Gus Rodeo by 15 thousandths of a second over Yakov Ojiwara, Lamandry Jr. But how about the 34? Here comes Cody Wyman. He did everything he needed to do this season. He looks over at his team, flashes the #1, and will take the national championship in 8th place. Your new #1, exiting the class.
Wow, if you look at this, Gus gets one move. He makes it over to the left. Kayla decides early to get out of that draft and try to beat him to the line, and you're going to see another close finish as Gus Rodeo just beats her across the line for that win.
Just half a bike length, 15 thousandths of a second. Ojiwara right there as well, 3/10 of a second away. So Gus Rodeo wraps up the season with a victory and secures himself second in the championship. But Jay, I can't wait till we see the score or the results in terms of points, because the way we calculate it, it should be all tied up, 0 between the two, but the tiebreaker goes on first place finishes.
Yeah, well, you got to know that Cody knows all of the championship scenarios, and he knew that 8th place was all he needed, Greg. So, yeah, to your point there, if they're tied in points, the next nod will go to who has the most race wins, and that would be Cody Wyman.
He's got 6 on the season, and that should be enough as Gus Rodeo notches his 3rd. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to the champion and find out how his season went. Don't go anywhere.
Smoke them if you got them. Those Dunlops lighting up there for Max Van and Cody Wyman. I've never seen anybody in 9th do a burnout.
I don't think I have either.
Like having his buddy Cody Wyman just next to him. Wins the national championship. Knew what he had to do. Exactly what he needed to do. And Roger, you and I looked at each other. This is 2 races out of all of ours that were tied at the end of the season. It comes down to the first tiebreaker.
Yeah, I can't believe in one season have two classes tie points. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but Cody had a great season, just always super consistent, didn't make a ton of mistakes, and today just rode smart. You know, for him, if he would have got in that pack and all those guys going back and forth like that, he puts himself in a position to get taken out. So I think he didn't want to get involved in that. He knew Gus and Kayla and all the other guys were just going to go at it, and just rode smart, got in 8th, had a huge gap on Max Van, and just brought it home.
Sure, he would have liked to have gotten a win. He'd already gotten 6 on the season, though, but just glad it finally paid off. I mean, he's no rookie in the Junior Cup class, and he's the oldest, and now he can graduate. He can go on to something else. I don't know where he's heading, but the Wyman family is so big into MotoAmerica, and we're not having to hand off a number plate. They've got the sticker ready for him, it looks like.
He did some twins races this year, so yeah. I expect him. I'm just assuming.
Drop the juniors and just go full-time twins.
Oh, yeah, I think this is his last year, and I would say, and just focus on the twins. He was fast on the twins bike, those races that he did, and for him, he's going to have a little bit of experience if he does move up to that class next season now.
Yeah, he's done well in twins, but that's what I'm saying. That would maybe be a full-time effort. Who knows? I mean, it could be one of the other classes. His brother Travis and brother Kyle in the series as well. Kawasaki's 1, 2, and 3. Actually, the entire field on Kawasaki's this year for the most part. there's some brotherly love. Travis giving him a hug. There's Kyle as well. But he dominated the season as far as wins are concerned. I mean, 6 race wins for Cody. That's what he needed to do. And it come down to the tiebreaker, and that was what did it.
And I'm sure today he probably could have ran in that battle with Gus and Kayla. Every race this season, Cody was at the front.
Yeah, every time. And the thing was, he wasn't at the front at the start. He was always at the front at the end.
Always finds his way toward the front.
You know, it has to be that feel of finally. You know, I mean, he didn't wear the butt patch off of those leathers. He's been giving it his all for quite some time, and it worked for him because even last year struggles, you would see him do well, and this year, whatever package that they had, I mean, he was strong in pretty much every single race.
Yeah, I think this year just came back and was really confident in the team and himself. His dad was helping him out, and I think he was just had a really solid program behind him, and that gives you a lot of confidence when you come in and you know everybody behind you is going to give you everything they got, and you feel good going into the season. And then also starting the season out strong the way he did, and just give him that good start and keep it going.
Kayla Yakov has a season to be proud of as well.
Big time. All those guys should be proud, especially Kayla. She's had a breakout season this last half of she's been at the front all year, but the last half of the season, she was one of the guys to beat. You know, setting the pace, leading a lot of these races, qualifying well, just kind of putting it all together. And if she comes back in Junior Cup next year, she's gonna be tough. 2
podiums this weekend, and we were looking at it, and it should have been whoever finished in front of the other as far as for that win. If it were Gus Rodeo or Kayla Yakov, would finish second in points behind Wyman. But again, that was a hell of a race, and we haven't even talked about Ryota Ojiwara, who's going to finish on the podium here as well. Coming in late in the season, it was just 2 weeks ago. He was just now old enough to even race this class. What's his future look like? I mean, he's 2 weeks into his qualification year.
Yeah, I think he would love to be here for the full season, and just how much he's learned these last 2 races, how things go back and forth in this Junior Cup, being in those big packs is really hard to sort out. So for him, hopefully next year he can come here, and he's proved he can be at the front. He's at the front last race, at this race, and then also Spencer Humphreys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Ryota, one thing I noticed is he might need to work on his rain style. We didn't see him do as well when it rained at New Jersey, and that takes time. But if you know you're this fast in the dry, maybe it was just an off day, but maybe that's something he needs to look at, because inevitably it's going to rain.
And New Jersey's a really tricky track in the rain.
I couldn't even imagine in the rain. But yeah, an excellent job by him. We saw Joe Lamandry, Spencer Humphreys. You mentioned Spencer. We know that bike has been a race winner in the juniors before, and now he's showing that he can be up there in front and possibly win on that bike as well.
Yeah, and also mentioning that next year he wants to be here for the full season, and for him, I think these last 2 races have been kind of an audition. So it's been cool. And great ride by Gus today, put it together. He was aggressive. He wanted that. He refused to lose today.
There were times I saw him, and it was Kayla trying to go underneath, and it was like one of those, if you want to really run it underneath there, we're both probably going to go down, because he was not letting off. And he does not have that aero advantage. I talk about he's growing. He's getting bigger.
He's not 6 foot.
He's not 6 foot, and I paid you my $5. He's 5'8" and growing quickly. He's
maybe
not,
next year.
He said I'm getting close. But, the progression we've seen out of him moving up through the ranks. I mean, we were talking about how he was this small Gus Rodeo, and he had the advantage. He's getting bigger, he's getting faster, and he's riding smarter.
And also, I think just as much as he's learned, he was in the front some races last year. Now he's got that consistency down, and just knowing where to place yourself toward the end of the races. We've seen him, if you go back looking toward the end of the season, he's won 2 out of the one in New Jersey. Now he won today, just figuring out how to put yourself in those right spots toward the end of the race, and Gus has done that.
I think he had as many podiums as anybody, including Kayla. Joe Lamandry's been up there, another rider that that we don't see in our picture here, but it's going to be in it for the championship, and we hope to see him with a full season as well. Either way, Rodeo, Yakov, Ojiwara, your podium finishers, but it is Cody Wyman, your national champion.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Let's welcome back. Let's take a look at these final results. 15 thousandths of a second. Gus Rodeo, Kayla Yakov, and Ojiwara. First time on the podium here and only 4th race in the United States. And Hannah is with our champion right now. SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup #1 plate.
Well, Cody is feeling the weight of that #1 plate in his hand here, the AMA FIM North America STG Junior Cup 2022 champion. Cody, you said it was a long race. What were your thoughts out there?
Yeah, just like yesterday, I would have loved to try to go with these guys and just do what I've been doing and just try to strategize and race for a win, but I knew the bigger picture, and this is pretty surreal. Probably set in a little bit of time, but this all goes out to Alpha Omega, who's helped out all year. Sorry, Cortec Leathers, Shoei Helmets, Helmet House. Oh man, I've been doing this a long time, and this is a long time coming. Spears Racing, Dale Quarterly, Champ U, my whole family, my dad doing everything for me. This is great.
Congratulations, Cody Wyman, your STG Junior Cup champion.
Didn't take that long to settle in, and the closest championship in MotoAmerica history, tied in points, but it's that 6 wins that was able to bring it home for Cody Wyman, doing the work in the mid part of the season. As for our race winner, Gus Rodeo, he did a great job to keep it as close as he possibly could. He's a Panther.
Greg, you're right. Gus Rodeo was not going down without a fight, and Kayla Yakov certainly did not make it easy on you out there today, but you've got the victory, a strong finish to the season. Tell us about your battle.
Yeah, I wanted to, it's my last race in the Junior Cup forever, and I wanted to go out with a win. I wanted this championship really bad. We came into New Jersey 50 points down. We closed it down to 1 point. We got 2 wins in the process. I'm on a 6-race podium streak, and I wouldn't be able to do any of it without my whole rodeo racing team, Rich, Frank, Artie, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, Owen for coming on last part of the season, just everybody, my sister, my brother, MVR Endeavor coming on. And yeah, it feels really good. 1 point, it's close, but you know what, we're right there. And I'm looking forward to moving up to the Twin next year. Thank you, HJC, RS Tai Chi, Audrey, Chris, Robert from HJC for helping me out all year. Edge Designs for getting these things looking so fresh. Every round I had a killer helmet. K-Tech Suspension, Lenny, Stay Strong, Skip, Kendall, everybody. Spears Racing, thank you, Greg, for coming on. Trackside Parts Club, Justin and Tyler. NJ Mini GP, Luckstar VIP, Robum, Geoscape Solar, everybody, thank you so much.
Gus Rodeo, the future looks bright for him.
Interesting. His last race in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. The future is bright for Gus Rodeo, but what happens next season? I can't wait to hear that news.
Are my people still out there? Can I hear you? Let's bring it, let's bring it. This is the last podium of the day, the last podium of the year. We're getting places over here.
All right, not sure they hear us down there at the podium. They're doing the presentations there. This is for everybody watching on MotoAmerica Live Plus, watching what's going on live behind the scenes. Well, we know the answer with Gus Rodeo now as far as where he's going or what he's doing, but what we don't know is what team he is on.
Well, I think this year with Anthony Mazziato doing the Twins with his dad and that team, they kind of got that 1 year under their belt. Actually, Gus started out the year at Daytona. Was I think he was going to do double duty all season, but at least at Daytona he was, and even at Daytona he was pretty quick in some of the practices.
The New Jersey Devil there on the top of his head. I don't know where he got those glasses.
Are those 3D glasses?
I don't know. I think he stole Greg's glasses. Those, he had something like that. Yeah, he was going to ride both classes. Thought he would focus his attention. And how close? One pass sometime in the top 15 sometime this year, and all those races could have made the difference.
Well, I mean, I don't want to bring it up, but at Brainerd on the last lap, he got in a little deep with 3 corners to go and crashed and took Max Van down with him.
Well, you brought it up.
Yeah.
That's not like me. I don't mean to say it, but I'm going to say it. Yeah, I forgot about that, and they hooked up, and it could have cost him. Again, we don't know what Cody would have done. He knew where he had to be.
Yeah, he for sure had the pace.
Yeah.
I mean, even yesterday and today, if he needed to force the issue, he could have been further up.
Yeah, he deserved it, and it was a long time coming. The Alpha Omega team, and Dad and everybody putting it together. Final time. I feel happy for him because I would talk to him in the pits and the paddock and the struggles and the bikes and going through the different manufacturers as well, just trying to find that answer. What would it take to get a victory? And then it turned into what's it going to take to get a championship?
Well, you could just tell by his interview what it meant to him. He couldn't even get through his interview, and I love seeing that emotion out of these riders. It just shows how much they care and how much they put into it. Cody had a lot of pressure on him this year to win this championship because he's been in the class, longer than the other guys, and that weighs on you when you're expected to win and you want to deliver, and then riding a bike when he did the Yamaha that was a little bit slow.
He had to learn how to push that bike beyond his limits. Remember that?
We mentioned that about Blake Davis, how maybe that helped him.
Yeah.
He had to ride harder than everybody else to keep up.
Yeah. And where does he go next year? Is he make that move into Twins Cup? The future is looking good, though, in all of our classes. I mean, heck, if we even add 2 more people, we're going to have more than 50 riders in Twins Cup next year here at Barber. And now they're filling out the championship podium, so this is the way it will look officially, evidently, and it looks like it is what we thought. If Gus Rodeo were to win, he would finish ahead of Kayla. Rodeo will finish second in the championship, tied in points with Cody Wyman. The first tiebreaker is wins, second tiebreaker is seconds, thirds on down.
Accepting a team award for
Alpha Omega team award as well. It's got to be Dad, right? Is it?
I would assume so. Dad does a lot of work, or maybe there's a sponsor.
Yeah, then again, Alpha Omega, the team itself would.
No, it's Dad.
No, it's Pops.
Great.
I was like, you would think it would have.
His dad has worked so hard this year on that Junior Cup bike and making, don't have a lot of help. His dad's did a lot.
Yeah.
Did a lot for all of his kids and his mom.
He joked with me. He said, I thought I was done with this stuff.
He'll never be done.
He'll never be done. He said, I thought I was done doing this.
This is the time when everybody says they're done at the end of the year, and then they take about a month off, and they can't wait for Daytona to come.
Hey, but for Pops, it was worth it. I mean, that if you truly are done, you ended on top. I mean, that is the way. That's the way to go. I mean, you can.
No
fight.
matter what, his dad's going to help somewhat, somehow.
Yeah, but not be the main guy.
Yeah.
I think he's over that. He's like, son, we win this championship. I'm golfing.
Maybe he needs to teach him how to be a mechanic. Teach Cody how to work on it too this winter.
Maybe. Just like your dad taught you, right?
No. Not a chance.
I said that facetiously. Got him a Dunlop guitar. We're still got to send it over to the guys too, and they'll wrap up their show.
Rodeo for not doing perfect math. It's actually tied at the end of the season, 285 apiece, but 6 wins for Cody versus 3 gives Cody Wyman the championship. Well, that'll do it for the 2022 season of SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup for Hannah Lope and Jason Pridmore. I'm Greg White. We'll see you in 2023.